My brother used my credit card to buy his girlfriend a $12,000 engagement ring. I found out when my card got declined buying groceries. Standing in the checkout line with a cart full of food, watching the cashier swipe my card 3 times, I felt my face burning as people behind me started sighing loudly. I had to leave everything there and walk out empty-handed. The second I got to my car, I checked my banking app. One charge, $12,847.63 to Premier Diamonds downtown. I called him immediately. He answered on the 4th ring, sounding cheerful. "Hey, what's up?" I asked him point blank if he'd used my card. There was a long pause. Then he laughed nervously and said, yeah, he'd pay me back after his bonus came through. That was supposed to be next month, maybe 6 weeks tops. He said it like this was completely normal, like he'd borrowed $20 for lunch. I told him to return the ring right now. He refused immediately. Said his girlfriend Stephanie already posted photos on Instagram, already called her mom, already told everyone at her office. Returning it would humiliate her in front of everyone she knew. He actually said that, like her embarrassment was somehow more important than the fact that he'd committed fraud. I asked how he even got my card info. He reminded me I'd given it to him 2 years ago when his car broke down on a road trip in the middle of nowhere. He needed a tow truck and didn't have the money. Emergency use only, I'd said. He'd apparently saved the number and security code in his phone notes. This wasn't an emergency. This was theft. He started getting defensive. Called me selfish for not supporting his happiness. Said I make good money as an accountant and could afford to spot him. Said this was a once-in-a-lifetime moment and I was trying to ruin it over money. That real brothers help each other out during important life events. I reminded him that real brothers ask before spending someone else's entire credit limit. He said I'd get every penny back with interest. Swore on our mom's life. Then he said something that made my blood boil. "You're not even married. You don't understand how important this is. What else are you spending money on anyway?" Like being single meant my money was just sitting around waiting for him to use it. I hung up and immediately called my credit card company. Reported the card as stolen and disputed the charge. The representative was incredibly helpful once I explained the situation. She flagged it as fraud, started the investigation process, and overnighted me a new card. She said cases like this were more common than people think. Family members justifying theft because we're related. The jewelry store called him 3 days later. They needed to verify the purchase due to a fraud claim from the card holder. My brother completely panicked. He tried explaining to them that it was just a misunderstanding, that I'd approved it but forgot, that we'd worked it out. They said they needed to speak with me directly or they'd have to reverse the transaction and take the ring back. Store policy. He called me 12 times in 1 hour. Left voicemails begging me to call the jeweler and confirm the purchase. Sent text after text saying I was destroying his future, ruining his relationship, being cruel for no reason. I didn't respond to any of them. By that evening, he'd run out of options. He had to tell Stephanie the truth, that he didn't actually pay for the ring, that he'd stolen his brother's credit card and the whole purchase was being investigated as fraud. She was absolutely horrified, not just that the ring wasn't actually paid for, but that he'd committed a crime and lied to her face about being able to afford it. She made him return it immediately, drove him to the jewelry store herself, and watched him hand it back over the counter. Then she dumped him in the parking lot, told him she couldn't marry someone who lied about his finances and stole from family, that if he'd do this to his own brother, he'd eventually do worse to her. My mom called me the next day. She'd heard both sides of the story. My brother had been calling her non-stop, crying, saying I'd ruined his life over money. She told him she was ashamed of him and that he needed to grow up and take responsibility. That was almost satisfying enough. He showed up at my apartment last night at almost midnight, eyes red from crying, saying I destroyed his future, that Stephanie was the love of his life and now she was gone because of me. She's now dating the jeweler who helped her return the ring, and they just got engaged. He saw their announcement on Instagram this morning.